Hello, everyone, and welcome to Global Wellness for All podcast. My name is Lale Hancock, and I have the great pleasure of being your host every single week, bringing in conversations, tools, resources to bringing more wellness and well-being in all aspects of our lives, whether it's relationships, it's finances, business, our bodies and mental health, whether it's having more communion with our magical earth or bringing more awareness and consciousness in everything that we're choosing. So thank you so much for being here. Here we go. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Global Wellness for All podcast. My name is Lale Hancock, and today I have a beautiful guest, Lilia Solorzano from Mexico. Hello, Lilia. Welcome.
Hello. Good morning to all. I'm very happy to be here.
Yeah, we're very excited you're here. Lilia, I want you to give everyone a little brief overview of your background. I know you've done a lot of things, and I know you from your gift of the camera and being able to capture people of all backgrounds, leaders, entrepreneurs, powerful women, and be able to bring not just their voice out on their pictures, but really be able to create this communion with their bodies, with their life, and the voice and message that they would like to share. So can you tell them a little bit about you?
Yeah, thank you, Lale. My name is Lilia Solorzano. I'm a fashion photographer and commercial photographer too. My specialty is the contemporary portraits of women. I have photographed more than 1,500 women. I work with my boyfriend, Arturo Vargas, and we're going to marry in November. We are so happy about that. I have a son that is going to turn 23 years in August. I'm very proud of him too. I studied business administration. That's what I went to college. But I always feel the need to express my own voice through the images. And I sense that people sometimes has not a very accurate image of themselves, and they sometimes they're afraid of being photographed because they felt they're not gonna feel good enough for the camera. And I think that's one of my missions in life: show them their own voice, their own power, and using that tool that is a camera, that people always look better than they think they look.
Yeah, it's interesting because I've had a couple of photo shoots with you, and I actually have the great pleasure of being able to have different photographers around the world that I get to play with and work with. And one of the things with you is that there is this relaxation, there's this fun and play. Our last one was at a country club in Mexico City, where we were surrounded by so many trees. The restaurant of the club would grow all their fruits and vegetables above where we were doing the photography. And, I know that you know how much I love the earth and how much I love trees and the wisdom of the trees. Like all this, it's not just this tree that's standing there just looking beautiful, but all the ways it's contributing to us, our bodies. It's also gifting us a lot of information and wisdom. So, you shared with me last week some feedback from a post, and then you sent me this beautiful message about trees and the way that we connect with them. So do you want to say a little bit more to everyone who's listening?
Yeah, thank you. Yes, I was just checking on Facebook, all my messages and everything, and appears a video that it make me feel a lot of electrician in my body. And I just remember that feeling the first time I felt that was in your Right Voice for You class, because it's something that, you know, it feels like a calling from the inside. That video was explaining that you can tap into the wisdom of the nature, because trees are not only, as you said, they are not only pretty and just standing there, they have a mission too, and they have all the grids connected to all the wisdom of the nature, and they are with wisdom of the ages, and that you can tap into that energy just to putting your hand on your heart and touching the tree. And sometimes you can even ask for guidance for your purpose, because sometimes we feel that we are lost and we don't know where are we going or what can we do. And everybody says to you that you have all the support of the universe, but maybe this is one of the ways to just can access to that wisdom, just like through the nature, through the trees. I just remember in that photo shoot of you at the country club that you was always hugging the trees, and you were very love with all the nature. And in that day, I thought it was beautiful, but I really don't understand why. Why was that fascination from you from the trees? I only thought in that time that only because they are very beautiful. But I know you were connecting. That's a way of connecting your true self with the nature. And in that way, you can access to more consciousness. It's the same that I felt on your Right Voice for You class. You know, that was not a very soft class for me, was a very challenging and emotionally was very challenging, because it touched a lot of parts of myself that I don't even being aware of. In the first day, I felt so much expansion of your class. And the second day, I just can't stop crying, because I felt in myself that I have not aware of the two parts of me, of all the feelings that I can felt. And sometimes we deny a part of ourselves because we thought that the other part is maybe wrong, maybe to feel so sensitive, to cry, to the one that we label as wrong feelings and or wrong emotions. And in your class, I just learned that there's no right or wrong, that we just need to felt everything. And that was part of me to awakening to my own voice, that I am a part, I am a whole, not only good feelings, bad feelings, or good emotions.
Yeah. And thank you for having words to even express that, because most of the times we don't. Now, that class was 2 years ago or a year and a half ago. So, you know, since then, you've had the ability to process that class, to allow you to embrace all of you. And I think that's one of the things that as a very young child, we learn not to do. Because if you look at a 3-year-old, they're willing to tell you anything, they're willing to ask for anything, but they're willing to wear clothes that don't match. They're really willing to have it all. And they're willing to be seen, they're willing to be heard. But we start to learn, don't do that. That's not appropriate. Don't say that. Why are you mad? It shouldn't be mad. You should be happy all the time. Instead of, we are going to have different emotions. We are going to have different moments. Something works for you and sometimes doesn't work for you. And that willingness to have your voice. Now, you know, with voice, sometimes people go to defense, like, oh, I'm going to tell you what my voice is. I'm going to yell at you. I'm going to be mean. I'm going to be rude. I'm going to do, no, that's not you being honoring of your voice, actually. That's you abusing people. That's abusing yourself too. No, you don't need to fight to have your voice, but starting to learn on the ways that you can have your voice and know when to speak up and say, hey, you know what? This doesn't work for me, but not from fight, but hey, this does not work for me. Or, you know what? I mean, a lot of times our voice in the bedroom, like most people aren't willing to ask for what they desire in the bedroom, like, but it's also with their kids. It's also with their parents. It's also with their boss. Some people aren't even willing to say, hey, you know what, boss? I'd like to have a raise. So like having our voice is not just this one moment, and it's not just from your vocal cords. Your body has a voice, your business has a voice, nature has many voices. And I do love to hug trees, but I don't have to hug them to start to engage with them, to start to communicate with them. When possible, I do. Like today, my friend's mom passed away and I'm staying in her house, and she has this beautiful garden. And my thing to do this morning was just to take off my shoes and go put my feet in the grass. Like we have nature that is here saying, hey, let me hug you. Let me gift you energy. And you can use that energy for whatever you desire. But one thing I found with nature is nature doesn't believe in lies. It doesn't even know lies. So what happens when we're in nature, whether you're hugging a tree, whether you're just engaging with nature or flower, they start to show you the real you. Not you with your masks that I have to wear this with my friends or I have to do this when I go to work. The real you being you. And
That's
the class that you mentioned, Right Voice for You, that's what it is. Inviting people to have a voice and to know sometimes you just gotta shut and listen. What were you gonna say?
that when I heard the title that was Right Voice for You, I just thought that maybe it's going to be about being correct, to be in a standard or something like that. It's nothing like that. It's, as you said, we have a unique voice, and it's not just like putting people and tell people bad things. It's about knowing from your inside that you can be more aware of everything. That's the first time I felt that I can connect with all the nature. As you said, you don't even have to be next to a tree because it can be with all the molecules of the space. You feel really connected of all the grid of the universe.
Yeah. And one of the things is like we knew this as children. I mean, I grew up, I moved when I was 7. I moved from Iran to France. And some of my most happiest memories in France, which I had so many, one, I lived across the street from the ocean. So we would go to the beach, like literally it was right across the street. And how much water just was that feeling of what you're saying for me. And then we moved closer to the woods. And every day after class, after school, my sister and I would pick up our Barbies and our animals, and we would take it to the woods. And we had this beautiful open cave. Like you had to walk like 10 minutes and then you'd get to this thing, like it looked like you're about to get in a cave, but it was this open space. And we'd go there and we would just hang out and play. I'm a much different generation than the generation of today. There was no iPad and there was no, phones for us to play with. It was connecting with nature and how amazing we felt, And so, like, find what that is for you, because you might find it reading a book. You might find it, putting your makeup on and going outside. You might find it having your favorite chocolate. Like, we've made it that it has to be this structure. It doesn't. What are things that invite you to be more of you and invite you to have a voice, and allow more of that into your life?
And
So I'm, go ahead, go ahead.
it's because sometimes people felt that it's easier to connect with the nature and connect with the dogs. They loved so much their dogs. But your class and in everything, that it's also, you can connect with people in a more true way. It's not only just because sometimes it's easier to connect with the nature. It's more challenging to connect with the people. For persons, sometimes it's easier to love their dogs because their dogs are really unconditional. But with people, I felt since your class also that we can connect better from our hearts, from our energy, with no points of view. That's also finding your own voice, not to avoid challenging situations, just to go to that situations from an open energy and with no points of view.
Yeah, and thank you for sharing that, because that is the biggest thing. We learn to hide. We learn to stay away. You know, like the last 3 years is really interesting, like watching people staying at home. More people aren't getting out, you know, or some are, but not really. More people are starting to travel, but a lot of it is because their awareness also heightened. You know, they are more aware of people, whether they're standing next to them or not. And I think that's one of the things we love about nature is nature has its own presence and loud presence, that the noise of your head goes away. You know, the monkey mind, the constant thinking, the I'm wrong, this is a problem, like they start to melt away. And the tools of Right Voice for you is the same thing. It invites you to start not to hide, not to exclude, but how to really empower yourself to handle any situation. Like I remember years ago, I mean, you know, I have over 34 years in the business arena. I've worked with, you know, presidents around the world. I've worked with governments. I've worked with corporations, you know, Fortune 500, Fortune 100. I work with not-for-profits. And back then, if you had a glitch, you had this technology glitch, it'd be so easy to be embarrassed. After my first Right Voice for You, I recalled there was a problem, I think maybe on Facebook or something, like I don't remember where it was, but for the first time, I didn't have any nervousness. Like it went away. It was funny that we had technology problem. Like I could flow. And the more I didn't make it serious, the more I didn't try to become a turtle. That's not me. I'm not a turtle. The faster and easier the technology worked. Because think about how often when there's a problem or what seems like a problem, we make it be huge. And then there's more problems and more problems and more problems. But that moment when it's this little itty bitty situation and you handle it, it can actually go away. And the more relaxed you are, the more you are willing to just say, it's just silly, it's just a freaking whatever situation, then it just outshines. Like the situation now becomes this beautiful experience. And I know I have that not just from facilitating Right Voice, but these energies of Right Voice, incorporating it in every day of my life.
Yeah,
So,
Lale, that's
yeah.
Sometimes I can sense in my life that when we have a challenge situation, if you approach to that situation from the compassion from ourselves and from the others, the situation vanish. Because I think that situations came just to give us the opportunity to acquire more consciousness, more compassion, more love. And I think they're only for kind of a teaching there, that if we approach that situation from love and compassion, the situation vanishes. I just remember one teaching from you on the right voice for you. There was a friend of us that went to the class with us, Carla Piñuela, that we love her so much. She had a little pepper that was really, truly magic. She has a little spot on her blouse, and you told, ask the spot what consciousness it's bringing to you, and then ask the spot on your blouse to disappear. She do that, and we never see the spot again. Something like that.
I love that example. I forgot about that.
Little spot for kind of a problem with some family, trouble with friends, to being afraid of being in the street. I think there are infinite possibilities to apply that.
Yeah. You know, one thing that's really interesting is everything has consciousness, including flowers, including everything that you purchase, you know, and the more we're willing to engage with it, you know, be silly. It's okay if people think you're weird. You are weird. You are different. We're all unique and different. The more we're willing to engage, like, for example, today I asked the room where I am, where is the internet going to be the most stable? Because it's very different in this house. And the room that I anticipated to do this live in, I got a no. When I asked her grand salon, it was a yes. And so rooms also have it. I mean, think about it. Every house is made up of wood, metals. Every aspect of anything in your house is made from our beautiful earth. Everything, including plastic. And people judge that as well, you know? Everything is. And the minute we stop judging it, that it can't, because the minute you think something is impossible, it can't happen, it won't, because even if it does, you'll never know. Your judgment of it, your point of view puts you in a box. Nothing outside your box will ever show up. You know, I'll give you guys a trick. Talk to your suitcases. My suitcase and I have a lot of fun together. I remember last year, my 2 suitcases didn't make it to my destination in Orlando, Florida. I came from Germany, and the whole flight, it was this interesting thing. Because we ended up having a delay, and it was like an hour and all these things. And I had this like feeling like, hey, are my suitcases on the plane, you know? And I kept getting a no, but the internet wasn't working or whatever to really track it. And then I landed and I saw my suitcases didn't make it. Like, they didn't show up. And I was like, wow. And I just asked, suitcases, are you okay? Where are you? Like, Germany. Now I have this communion, you know, they don't talk, but there is this perceiving. Okay. And the more you expand your consciousness, the more you'll perceive, you'll become more aware, because your being also is willing to have more of that. So, you know, like, I knew my suitcases were okay, where other people were freaking out around me. Like, 1/4 of our plane didn't have their suitcase. 5 days we didn't have our suitcases. And they kept saying the next day, the next day, the next day. And I kept engaging. And it was so funny because I perceived the suitcase that says, hi, I'm on the plane. And then an hour later, I got a message from United, it's here. Like, it's on the plane on its way to me. And I'm like, yeah, my suitcase talked to me before the airlines did, you know? I mean, how cool is that? But that's because I'm willing. Until you are willing, everything that has a voice can talk and communicate, but you may not know that. It's not wrong if you don't, and you never have to. But if you start to make this be a game and a play, start to see what's possible for you. Because we all have different gifts and we have different ways we play. So I wonder what voice is communicating with you and may desire to contribute more than you have ever been willing to know.
And that's so
Yeah.
what lasts, because sometimes, as you said, you talk to your suitcase, but it sends you an answer. It's an energetic answer, but we are not sometimes not willing to, or we fail the image, but we don't trust in that. That's what happens sometimes. We don't trust in our voice. In your class, amazing, all the clearings you make in order we can tear off apart all the mask we have, all the shields we have, in order to really hear that voice. But even if nature is calling you, it's sending you messages, we can't hear them.
Well, I think one, thank you so much for you. I adore you. I can't wait till your wedding. I'm in the wedding. Yeah, November in Mexico City. How does it get better? But I would like to invite people to this because Right Voice for You got started by Gary Douglas many, many years ago. I actually don't know how many, probably 15, 20 years ago. And it really was about inviting people to have more of their voice. Now, some they sing and that's how they share their voice. Some they cook and share their voice through their food. Some do it as poetry or writing a book. Some do it like you with your camera and photography or videography. Like we all have different gifts in different ways that our voice does get to be shared around. And so this week, I'm going to do a Right Voice for You intro class that is available for everyone. I made a global time. It's online. It's 2 hours. It's going to be called like 5 tools to be seen and heard, so that you also engage your business, your body, your life, and the future that you desire to create more. And then May, I will be in Dubai and I will be facilitating a 3-day Right Voice for You class. And I invite you guys to really explore Right Voice for You for so many different perspectives. For you, you don't even have to do it for anyone else, but start to see you become the invitation. Because the minute you're willing to be heard, you're willing to be seen, you're willing to have a voice, you are an inspiration for someone else to have a voice, to be seen, to be heard. And right, the 3-day class is full of activities. So it's actually not just a sit in a chair kind of class. It ends up being activity of you doing things. And we do a lot with videos and cameras, like you know. Get people a lot more comfortable with that. And like it or not, our world includes a lot of social media. So also have more ease, not just being seen, but the ability to be on camera. And yeah, and that's just one of it. We do a lot of things with art. We just do a lot of different fun exercises. So thank you so much, Lily. I'm so grateful for you. And I'm grateful for the beautiful video of the trees and communing with the trees that came up. That gave us an excuse to talk again. I hadn't talked to you in a little while. And yeah, and we'll here and we'll have it also show notes for the upcoming events if there's anything else that you would like to come and play with. And some things are in Zoom and some things are also available. Find what works for you. And big hugs to you until I see you soon. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you. You are Mother Nature. I can feel that from you
too. Thank you so much, beautiful. Thank you. Bye, everyone. Thank you so much for being here whether you were listening or watching live or on a replay, we are so grateful for you. We want to hear from you. What would you like to hear about? What are topics that get you excited and you would like to know more about? You can message us on social media, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, or even sending us a message at globalwellnessforall.com/contact. And also, would you be willing to assist us? Would you be willing to contribute spreading these seeds of wellness and well-being to others? And as always, we are so happy you're here and what is truly possible with our amazing planet the minute we're willing to have more wellness and well-being. See you next time.